Hello, Ken Spriggs here with my recap of Wonderfest 2023, which was this past weekend in Louisville, Kentucky. From June 9th I got there, it was June 10th and 11th. Wonderful time, really good time this year. They had a very good turnout, lots and lots of people were there. From what I understand, they had over 1,040 models, which is a new record for them, for models in the model contest. A lot of great vendors. I saw a lot of great people and had some real good interactions with fellow modelers. Saw some awesome models in the model contest room and picked up some really good merchandise from the vendors, which I'll go over later in the video. My original stills that I started this video with were when I first arrived. They were at Louisville, and I went to a pizza place that I've been to before. It's Derby City Company, Derby City Pizza Company, something like that. Really good, but they have really good meatball sandwich, meatball hoagie with a cold beer that I got there, and I always like to get. So I after I checked into the hotel, I went there and got some lunch, and then got everything set up and ready to go for the next day. So what I want to start with is had a really great time getting together with some good friends and fellow modelers and meeting some new modelers and new friends as well. So let me show you a few stills. Friday night, Phil Siegel from Sprueverse took several of us out to the old spaghetti factory in Louisville. Had a very fantastic time, and he treated us to that. He's very generous. Phil's an awesome guy. So those of us that went out that night were myself, of course, Lou Dalmaso from Aztec Dummy, Augie Gonzalez from Starship Modeler, or Interstellar Modeler, not Starship Modeler, Interstellar Modeler. Phil, of course, from Sprueverse. We also had Paul Bodensic from Paragraphics. And we had Wayne Green and his wife Esther from England, from World of Wayne, there as well. So it was really a lot of fun and a lot of good interaction with them. So let me show you some stills, or a still and a little short video of that to start with.
Cheese.
More like cheese. Oh. And of course me.
What did you have last time?
All right, so that was really a great time hanging out and enjoying some delicious food at the old spaghetti factory. We also went out on Saturday night, and we went out to Mama's. Mama's homemade mustard and pickles, but it's a barbecue place. We went there last year. Really good place. Fantastic food. And this time it was myself and Augie Gonzalez, Phil from Sprueverse, and Lou Dalmaso. We were also joined by Rick Sternbach from Star Trek, who has done quite a lot of things with them, and also John Everett, who's a friend of Augie's, that was with him as well. So that was a really fun time also. So I have a still from that as well here to show you. So I also got to meet some other modelers, some that I've met before, or some that just came up and introduced themselves to me, and we talked about my model, or talked about their models that they entered into the show, which I always love doing. I love doing that, and getting to know people, making new friends, and seeing the work that they do. The next little video clip I took in the contest room, so I apologize for the sound quality. It's fairly noisy in there, and it was harder to get a quieter interview with him. It's just a few minutes, but I think it's you're able to hear it on there. His name is Joe Schmidt. He was there last year, and I met him, and he had an enterprise that he had for many years, a refit that he refurbished and rebuilt, and entered into the contest and did really well with it. So he entered several models this year as well. One of my favorites that I had told him about was the 2001 Mobius Space Clipper, the smaller one. I can't remember the scale of it, but the smaller one. He actually scratch built a rendering of the opening to the Space Station 5, and the ship is coming straight up out of it, and he has it on a clear acrylic stand. Really, really ingenious, really creative and clever. Really loved how he displayed it, and I told him that I'm going to steal that idea for the big 172 version of it in the future and try to reproduce that type of thing. But let me go ahead and show you the interview with him, and then I'll show you that model. There'll be other models of his in the slideshow a little bit later that I'll be showing, but that's one particular one that I really enjoyed, and we talked about it a little bit. So let me go ahead and show you that brief talk with him.
There's no good direction to start.
Hello there,
Just go in
with Joe Schmidt here at Wonderfest. We met last year. He entered a really awesome refit Enterprise that he had refurbished after several years of an older kit that he had. Here again this year, and entering several models as well, some Star Trek and Star Wars and some other things. So Joe's a good guy, so check him out on Facebook, and I'll definitely look at some of his models in my videos. So nice seeing you again, Joe.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome. All right, really great work on that Space Clipper. I really love that. He said that he completely scratch built the opening to the Space Station 5 base that it was coming out of. He said he used a clock and then just added all the extra detail on it. It's a really fantastic way to display that model, and really nice and compact because it's pointing it straight up, which is really cool. So really loved it. One other interview that I did of another modeler is a gentleman by the name of Gary Salerno, and he had a really incredible NX01 1350 scale from Polar Lights that he had done a lot of extra refurbishing on. So he started with the base kit, and originally when they did Enterprise, the series, they were going to do an additional season, and they were going to modify the ship, and it was going to have a lower part of the hull that was added on. And they actually made designs for it, and there was a model released, a small version of it, that had the extra secondary hull at the bottom. So he used aftermarket parts and other things, and it was lit up, and it's just really fabulous. I'll show you here in a moment. He did a really great job. He also shared that he almost didn't make it, almost didn't get the model completed in time because unfortunately his wife is dealing with cancer. He said that she is battling it and she is dealing with it, which is good news to hear. And she encouraged him to work on this model and said, that's important to you. You need to get that done. And he did. He spent day and night, as he said, in order to get it completed in time, and did a lot of extra work and a beautiful, beautiful job. He did end up winning a special award for it. I'm not sure which one, but I know that he had mentioned later on that he had won one for it. So congrats to that. He definitely well-deserved. Really, really nice work. And so I have a little brief talk with him, and then I'll show you some good shots of his NX01 Enterprise. Hello, I'm here with Gary Salerno. Did I say that right? Yeah. Thank you. Sure. Just met him. Has a really awesome NX01, calling it a refit.
It's a refit, yeah.
It has the, it's a 1350, and it has the lower hull section, which was a concept but not actually done.
Right, it was supposed to be the directors were talking about doing it in a fifth season.
Right. And one smaller kit was released out with it in, but nothing of a larger scale.
Right. It's been done. I've seen it done a lot in 1/1000 scale.
Right.
Yeah.
So he did a really, really good job. I'll show you here some shots in a second of it. Turned out really fantastically here at Wonderfest. So really nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Awesome work.
Yep. Thanks. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with everybody this weekend.
is when it's in the quote-unquote landed mode, it doesn't go vertical because these things hit here. I know the other kid, next kid, some of them back and cut those out. So
You go all the way out.
they're land like that.
My son got me
They're just
started.
amazing pets. You know, they're so well put together. They're so tight. You almost don't even.
I really liked it with the lower hull there
almost don't
too.
even need it.
I think that really adds to it.
Yeah. So you don't have to. Yeah. You don't have to sit there and go, oh, it's very good.
There's a challenge, I'll tell you that.
And you can just.
I believe
let
it.
your mind go and.
All right, so really incredible work on that NX-01 Enterprise, just really astounding. I always love seeing that much detail put into it. It's not just the lights, it's the painting, the modifications. I mean, it's just incredible. I have never built one that big, and it's a bit intimidating because of all of those things involved, but really great work that he did on that, and well-deserved award that he got for that as well. So next, I'm going to go ahead and start looking at the model room, and I'm going to start with some videos. First of all, just some panning shots around, just to kind of give you an idea of the large number of people and the large number of models that are there in this great turnout for the model contest at Wonderfest. So let's go ahead and take a look.
I'm going to see it tomorrow.
Yeah, but they have like a JC.
Oh, you're in custom. You see the thing it's squished?
You just gotta keep close and see the details. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Oh, well, okay, there we go.
That's why they were making all the comparisons between him and Suletta, because it's like, yeah, Suletta's like, yeah.
How much feasible is it? Like, not about like straight up gets like 5 copies.
Actually, watching the documentary, how they made that, they took the camera, she didn't walk on, she was on a treadmill. And the camera was like this. Yeah. That's quite the monster.
Maybe like we'll get some not very close shots and
All right, so as you can see, really a lot of people there, a lot of models. The tables were really full, and it showed, and it was great to see. I really love to see that, and a lot of people attending and enjoying the model show. The last little video was actually from one of the side rooms where they have not the model contest, but there's some other large models they displayed there. A lot of times Star Wars related, and there's some other vendors in there. So that's the one with the hammerhead that you could see that was very large. So some cool models there as well. All right, so let me go ahead and start showing the models and do some stills in the model contest. I'm going to start first of all with the 3 models that I entered into the contest. So I entered my Clavius dome base that I made last year that was 3D printed with a little teeny Belfine Ares 1B coming out like it's landing in the top with the lit up cockpit and the lit up side lights on it. I also entered, of course, my fly diorama that I just recently completed. You've probably seen my video for it. And I also entered the last model I built just the week right before Wonderfest, my interpretation of the description from the book of the cat fly man hybrid that I 3D printed from the design made for me by Jeffrey Fink, and then I added on the static grass and added some additional things. So I entered all 3 of those. As I mentioned before, and I'll just mention it briefly here, I don't really go to the contest anymore for the awards because, quite frankly, it's someone's opinion and I don't often agree with their opinions. In fact, sometimes their choices rather baffle me. And this year was no exception. Not sour grapes or anything. I don't need someone else to tell me the quality of my work. I'd rather talk to other modelers and get their opinions, and everybody obviously unanimously loved them and thought they were great. But what I did was I won 2 bronze awards this year. Now, surprisingly, they were not for what you might think. I won a bronze for my Clavius dome base, which I think it was, I think I did a great deal on that, and I really like that, but we won't debate that. Strangely enough, surprisingly, the other bronze was for my little cat fly man hybrid, which I threw together in a week. I'm proud of it, don't get me wrong, but by no means did I invest any massive amount of time into it. It was just, something I wanted to do as almost an afterthought. I got a bronze award on it. On my fly diorama, which I, definitely think I deserved something on, I got a merit award. I didn't even get a bronze. So whatever, c'est la vie. It was more enjoyable talking to the other modelers and seeing their reactions to it. So I'm not all that worried about getting an award that says that it was good because of that. So let's go ahead and take a look at, we'll look at some stills of my models in the contest, and then we'll start looking at some stills from the rest of the show. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and do a slideshow of the incredible models in the model contest. And as I said, there's quite a lot. There was over 1,000 for sure. So I'm just doing all stills with them. And if I missed your model, I do apologize. I did try to take pictures of all the ones that were there, but some were added later on. I started most of them, I took pictures of early Saturday at 10 o'clock when they first opened the contest room. And then I took some more on Sunday, so there might be some other ones that I caught. But I did try to go through and look at most of the models. They're not in any particular order. I just went through and showed the ones that I had. So hang in there. It's a pretty long, it's about 15 minutes. I did try to cycle through the background music so it wasn't getting too monotonous for you. But it's well worth looking through the entire set of stills from it, because there's some really fantastic work in this year's Wonderfest. So let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so some really incredible work, like I said, just amazing. Really, really enjoy every year going there and seeing all the different models that are entered, just the massive creativity and wonderful artistry that that everyone brings to this show. So really, really happy with that. It gives me a lot of ideas myself, and looking at the different works that people have done. This video is getting a bit long at this point. Already is kind of long at this point. I'm going to go ahead and end this part, and I will do a second part where I will go over the vendors and look at some things from there. Definitely tune in for that. I'm going to have an interview with a gentleman from one of the vendor sites. I'll just kind of give you that hint right there. Some really good products that he's making. And also looking at the other things in the vendor area, and also looking at the merchandise that I picked up and that I'll be working on at some point down the road, probably over the next year. So go ahead and look for that here shortly. Probably that'll be uploaded tomorrow once I get the rest of that filmed. But thank you for sticking with me on this video. Hope you enjoyed all of the entries that were there. And stay tuned for the next part of this coming up soon.